Alrighty, we are rocking and rolling. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of DCTV. We are very, very excited to welcome on a repeat guest and one of our best PGA Tour handicappers on the entirety of the platform and in the entirety of the space. So, MoneyMillsLocks, welcome on, my friend.
Appreciate you. Good to see you.
This is a very special week for you, and I was strategic in getting you scheduled as a result of the success that you've had at the Cognizant in years past. So I definitely want to take a trip down memory lane, and we can chat through last year's historic winning cash. I want to look forward to kind of what your thoughts are on this week's tournament. And then, hey, maybe even touch on little MLB futures action. We'll see where things take us.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, no, I have this tournament in particular, super soft spot in my heart. We've had two winners in the last 3 years. So last year's obviously one that was one to remember, and then quite the experience that followed that. A couple weeks later at the Players. The video that did go viral, 1.2 million views. So yeah, happy to talk about it.
Yeah, let's start there. For those unfamiliar with what we're referring to, I'm going to drop a link in the chat, but I want folks to hear it straight from the horse's mouth in terms of what we're referring to with that legendary cash.
Yeah, so anybody who bets golf, there's a lot of value pre-tournament, but even more so when you're betting live, you can pick up on some guys. And the things that I do extremely well is identifying the field, and then also guys who happen to just be playing well, or I see some tendencies, whether it's ending a round or the beginning of a round, and trying to grab somebody live. So a guy that could potentially be a long shot, but you just see how the day is going. You see how the weather's, what the weather's looking like, and getting a guy before he goes on this crazy run and get him at the higher number than the number that he should be at. So for this particular one, we go back to last year, and this player was essentially, he actually just made the cut on the number. And when you make the cut on the number, you're the first guy off, right, on Saturday, coming into the weekend. And at this course in particular, just like most Florida courses, the wind is up. And this time of the year, the wind is up. So he ended up going off early and started hot and was putting together a fantastic round. This was Saturday morning, mid-afternoon. And he was on the 10th hole, and he striped a drive right down the middle, and I think he was 4 under or 5 under at this point at this course, which is a fantastic round in itself. And he was on the 10th hole and hit a beautiful 5-iron fade over the bunker and hit it to 4 feet and had a tap-in eagle. And at that point, he was 200 to 1. And he was only a few shots back from the lead at that point because he was going so low. So anybody who's following live, you know that an eagle is worth 2. So he was going to drop 2 shots and he's going to get closer to the lead. So before the books could ultimately adjust their odds, I was on it and I grabbed Joe Highsmith at 200 to 1. And this was before I was banned on this specific sportsbook. I've been banned since then because of hits like this. As we know, sportsbooks don't necessarily like people who win. Fast forward, he ended up finishing that round, and we went into Sunday's round. He was still 4 back. So there was still significant value to take him going into Sunday, but his odds were down to roughly 16 to 1, 18 to 1 instead of the 200 to 1 number that I got him at. Come Sunday, he goes off, he plays well, he plays steady. He didn't make any mistakes, ended up running away with it. All the leaders collapsed, and all he had to do was make par on the 18th hole, par 5, and he cashed a $250 bet at 200 to 1, and I cashed over $50,000 that day. And actually, the ticket is right here. So you notice 250 to over 50 G's, and there's also a signature here. So if you haven't seen the video, like Dash said, he'll drop that for you. But 2 weeks later, he was playing at the Players Championship up in Ponte Vedra in Jacksonville, and he was on the putting green. And that video had gotten a lot of, that ticket had got a lot of attention for the prior 2 weeks. So I ended up walking up to him on the putting green. And the guys that I was with, I said, just record no matter what, from start to finish. We'll cut it later. And I walked up to him, and he looked over at me, and he recognized me, which was probably just a very cool moment. Calls him, "Yo, Money Mills, what's up, man?" So we ended up having a conversation, probably 5 minutes. There's a bunch of people watching, and they're like, "What's going on?" Long story short, I brought this. I carried it with me. I blew it up. He signed it. We took a picture, and yeah, the rest is history. Later, now over 1 million views.
That is absolutely legendary. The fact that he recognized you, like I said, everybody go check out Money Mills on Instagram. He's got 137,000 followers. So you can be one of many. I mean, in terms of that video, it's one of the coolest that I've seen ever. So, well, hey, what I want to jump into now is how we're going to run that back this upcoming week with another incredible cash. For those unfamiliar, the Cognizant used to be the Honda Classic. That may be a more familiar name. They recently rebranded in the last couple of years. Tournament is played at PGA National Champions Course down in Palm Beach. You're going to be boots on the ground. I'm very, very jealous. What else can you tell us about this week and what it takes to be successful here?
Yeah, they're just coming out of California, right? So very different greens, different type of grass. It was a little bit chilly, but not as much wind as what Florida. There's no action on this course. And guys who typically do well here, you don't need to be a fairways are crucial. And those guys that typically are strong with their irons between 120, 150 yards do very well here. So strong winners. And it's interesting. So if anybody who is, making their own bets, if I can give you one caveat that I would suggest is guys who are going off early in the morning tomorrow, those guys very often the morning late wave and then the afternoon Friday. So they go good round one, position well determined. I'd be looking for guys who are starting early tomorrow.
Sorry, Millsy. I caught the tail end of that, or excuse me, I lost the last bit of that. You mentioned the morning window, and then that's where you cut out. Do you mind just repeating that for listeners and myself?
So just saying that in particular, looking at years past, the people who have done well here traditionally have been the guys that have started very well. And there's a huge wave advantage morning to afternoon. So if you are looking at some long shots, you are looking at guys to target, I would suggest looking at Thursday morning tee times.
Amazing. Let's jump into the tournament itself. I'm curious to hear from you in terms of who you have top of mind, who's impressed you thus far this year. So I want to start there with the tournament and then do a little circle back on your perspective on how this season's going thus far and who's really impressed you through the first couple weeks of the 2026 season.
Yeah, happy to. Your camera's off, by the way. So I'm looking at a little emoji person. Yeah, no, this week there's certain guys. If you are looking at some favorites, Ryan Gerard, he's near the top of the board in terms of lowest odds. It's a great course fit for him. He's played very well this year. He's actually a terrible putter, but the rest of his game is super strong. So if he just putts decent, I really like him here. Shane Lowry's had fantastic success here. He's had 5 top threes at this event. But those are guys with shorter odds. So if you are looking at guys that are a little bit more of a long shot, so if you are, just putting a little bit of money on it, you want something a little bit bigger of a cash. One guy that I really like for first round leaders. So here's a free nugget for you guys. It's going to be on my VIP card. Max McGreevy, he's plus 6,000 to be first round leader tomorrow. I like him because he's had good success here. He's also, his best scoring average is in the first round. So he's a great guy with great value. And he has an early tee time, 7:09 tomorrow morning. So I would suggest if you are going to sprinkle on a couple long shots, give that a chance. But also, if you're not familiar with golf, the way it works is, and this is a rule that I believe needs to be changed in the game of golf in terms of golf betting, is the dead heat rule. So if you have a guy that's 60-1 and he doesn't lead outright, you don't get paid in full. If he ties with someone or ties with 3 people, then you got to split that, which at the end of the day, when 142 players are playing, if you pick a guy, to lead the tournament after day one, in my opinion, I think you should get the full amount, but it's ultimately not the case. But I always like to remind people that to keep that in mind when you're hedging, when you're looking at live leaderboards. That's super crucial for you to understand, just to make sure you're managing your bankroll properly. Someone that I like to win this week, he's been knocking on the door for a couple years, and he's got great course history, but his game also fits this course extremely well. He's not a huge hitter off the tee, but he's fantastic from that distance of 120 yards, 150 yards, and that's Eric Cole. And you can get him at plus 8,500 to win the tournament. So I think that's a really great value bet for a guy with course history who fits this course really, really well. If you're looking at something a little bit more conservative, if you don't want to take him necessarily for an outright because he's never won, having said that, this is a great course for first-time winners. Many people have won here for the first time. You can take him for top 20 plus 315. So that's an opportunity for you guys to what I'd suggest, which is a ladder bet. So you have him as an outright. If he wins, that's the cherry on top. But if he finishes top 5, top 20, top 10, top 20, you can ladder that down. So a nice conservative bet for Eric Cole this week would be top 20 plus 315.
When you are determining how you want to unload your bankroll in terms of taking Cole at, plus 8,000 as an outright winner versus as a top 20, do you have any advice for folks that are new to the golf betting market in terms of how to properly manage that bankroll and deploy capital in efficient ways?
I do. So I look at it as a tournament as a whole. So you're probably what I do. Prior to the tournament, I'll provide a full slate. So on that slate, you'll have a winner list. So normally 4 to 5 names, right? You want to diversify. Picking one guy of 142, that's tough. So you're going to want to pick 3, 4, 5 guys. And how you're going to divide up that bankroll is based on your budget, obviously, but what you want to commit on the winners. So we have clients who they love to play the long shots, but I also have clients that are focused more on the more conservative bets, the top 20s, the top regions, and they're going to put more units on those. But what I give out every week is a handful of winners, a handful of first round leaders, and then I have my tournament props. The tournament props are the ones that I'm most confident in. These are the ones like, picking a top 20, picking a top 10, someone who I really like to finish somewhere within the tournament. And this would be a 2, 3, 4, 5 unit max bet depending on the week and obviously my confidence. And when I'm distributing the units, I explain it and break it down. This is how I would do it. But if you are doing it on your own, what I would suggest is if you're picking 4, you're going to want to use maybe 1 or 2 units on those outrights. The higher the odds, the lower the investment. If you're going on someone like a Ryan Gerard this week, who is the tournament favorite at plus 1,800, I would probably contribute an entire unit on that player. Whereas someone like an Eric Cole, who's plus 8,000, anywhere between 0.25 to 0.35 units.
That's super insightful. I'm even curious about that. I've bet every day for 5 years straight. So I appreciate that. Going to have to cut that up in a clip and send that out to the masses because everybody can use a little bankroll management 101. Another thing that
golf too, just one more thing, like every day we have golf matchups as well. And this is where I've done extremely well and where we print every day. So every day I'll have a lotto parlay, but most of the time what really hits is our singles, our hammer plays, or conservative parlays. So you have 2 balls and 3 balls. So when there's 2 players, it's a head-to-head match. You can have an outright winner and a tie, or you have a 3 ball, like they'll have this week. Saturday or Thursdays and Fridays is 3 balls because there's 140 players and they need to get through the entire field in one day. So what you're doing is you're picking the player to win that matchup, and the odds can get quite juicy. So when you start to parlay these together, that's where it gets really fun, and that's where you can get super, amazing slips like I've had. a couple years ago, turned $30 into $38,000 by going 10 for 10. That's the biggest hit I've ever had. I don't claim to do that on a weekly basis, but we've had many of these cash. So you have to think of it as a short-term future, right? Some people will wait 8 to 9 months to cash a future bet, World Series winner, Super Bowl winner, NHL, Stanley Cup final. Whereas golf, think of it as a mini future. You have 4 days. So you have your outright that you're going to sweat over the course of 4 days, but there's definitely opportunity to make money every single day throughout the tournament as well. And then if you're profitable come Sunday night and your outright winner wins, then you're just, it's the cherry on top.
That's the week I'm looking for. And I know historically you haven't gone more than a couple of weeks without hitting the outright winner. So I feel something special cooking this week. If you guys aren't in Mills's Dub Club quite yet, you got to get in there. He has a 50% off week-long promo. So we'll drop that in the comments when we release these clips. Everybody be on the lookout for that. Mills, your community has absolutely exploded thus far in 2026. You've shot up the Dub Club leaderboards. You've hit milestones that you haven't hit previously. Talk about what's gone into that. What's been the secret sauce? What's been the recipe? Fill us in.
Yeah, I think it's just consistency is a big part of it, right? We do this every day, day in, day out, and it's just a lot of grind. It's a lot of time, and it's just a lot of effort. But also, too, I have a great team, and I think that doesn't get shared enough, whether it's myself all over social media or not. But in order to run a great community, like any CEO, like any business owner, you're only as great as the team that you have. So I have a great team of admins as well that help within the community, offering different sports. Within our community, we have a tennis admin, we have basketball admins, we have table tennis, if you would believe that. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is provide, regardless of what your bankroll is, but more importantly, what your interests are and what you like betting on. We have something for everyone. So I have the sports that I cap, that I do extremely well myself, but I don't claim to know everything. So having great people who I trust, who are on my team, that's what's allowed us to really thrive in all sports, which is, again, allowed us to diversify, do more collaborations with people. And I think it's a big reason why we've just been absolutely killing it in 2026.
It's a beautiful thing, my friend. It's awesome seeing this growth. You're helping the masses, and they are very, very appreciative of that, me included. I want to zoom out. We've covered the Cognizant. You love McGreevy, 60-1 first round leader. He's teeing off in the morning. That's when the course is most attackable. Yep. Eric Cole is another guy that you have your eyes on, top 20 at plus 315. And plus 8,500 to win outright?
8,500 to win outright.
I want to zoom out and look at the year to date in terms of both personal performance as well as what your take is on the 2026 season thus far. Who's surprised you? Who's impressed you? Who's let you down? Give us your read on that front.
Yeah, it's funny because we spoke before week one, right? Before the century. And I gave you 3 names that I said were going to be good this year. One was Pearson Coody, Akshay Bhatia, and Michael Thorbjornsen. And all 3 of those guys have been all over every single leaderboard. Like, you can go back and you can clip it, you can watch it. And you asked me, who are the guys that I said to look out for? And all 3 of those guys are having breakout seasons. So I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this year's been interesting because every week I give out a free winner too, for the most part, unless I'm busy. But I try to provide value to people who maybe can't necessarily purchase the full VIP. I want to give some free picks. So we've had some really bad beats this year. One of them, I gave out Siwoo Kim at the Amex, and he was leading the tournament the entire way going into Sunday. And then Scotty did what Scotty does, and he ended up winning the Amex. But we have another bad beat that's even worse. I gave out Hideki Matsuyama pre-tournament at Waste Management.
Oh.
And here's a guy, Masters champion, multiple time tour winner. And I would say 99 out of 100 times he gets on the green in 2 putts from that bunker and hits it right into the lip ends up making bogey and losing to Chris Gotterup. Chris Gotterup just stole that. And again, a fellow dub clubber benefited significantly from that, who we both know. But yeah, that was a bad beat because, you know, between the community and me posting that, I would say close to maybe 1,000 people, you know, would have had that cash. So that was a tough one for sure. And then just a couple of weeks ago, Rory, we had him for pretty big money to finish top 10 at the Pebble Beach. And he ended up finishing T12. And the reason he finished T12 is because Ryo Hisatsune ended up chipping in from under a tree over the bunker, rolled out, and eagled the last hole to knock Rory out. So,
oh my God.
We have had our fair share of bad beats in this short season, but I will say that we've been absolutely killing the props. So like I said, every week I give 3 of my favorite tournament props, and these are 3-unit plays. So this year we've been hitting at, I think it's 70%. So I've swept twice, and then 1 week I went 1 for 3, and the other 2 weeks I went 2 for 3. And these are the ones that are going to boost those balance. These are again my favorite plays of the year. Favorite plays of the week, and those have been going extremely well. So I'm ready. I've hit this winner 2 of the last 3 years. I hit Chris Kirk here when he won. We hit Highsmith last year here. So good vibes going into this week.
We are ready for another one of those winners, my friend. Last thing for you would be, first of all, those calls were incredible. Cootie has been all over the leaderboard. Akshay was up 3 or 4 strokes a couple weeks ago going into Sunday. Yep. So clearly this guy knows ball. Any predictions based on what you've seen thus far this year when it comes to the players or the 4 majors, season-long champion? Any thoughts on that front?
I think that it's been a great start to the season. One guy that I still think's not getting their respect. I mean, we've barely gotten through 2 months, and Chris Gotterup's got 2 wins already. We mentioned him once, but he's playing with free money. He was handed a second win. He won very easily earlier in the year, but you can still get him at a very fair price. And I would say arguably he's a top 3, top 4 player in the world right now. So when we're going into major season, because he's never won a major, because he's not necessarily a household name, I think that you can still get some nice value on him. So definitely keep an eye on him at the Masters because he can hit the ball a long way. You need to be a long ball hitter there, and he putts well. And I think that, you know, given those Augusta greens, the speed of those greens, I think that he can very much be there on Sunday at Augusta this year.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go have to check that out as soon as we jump off and see where his odds are sitting. Last thing, and then we'll let you go, Millsy. You're a busy man. I know golf is your specialty. MLB season's right around the corner. Whether it's you or your admin, I've seen winning tickets flying throughout the server in the last year on the MLB front. Any thoughts, any futures, any leans on the MLB front?
We haven't kind of gone into it too much yet, but I just don't see how did the Dodgers not repeat. I mean, it's the chalkest bet that you'll ever see, but who's going to beat them? You tell me.
I think that they're a runaway train. Plus 230 feels like there's value there. So
the thing is with me though, when it comes to that, is like, do you really want to wait until October for a plus 230? You know,
maybe you go Dodgers with a little Eric Cole sprinkle in there and juice it up and have a nice fun sweat come October.
I do know that there's a lot of people that do this, so they'll make a lotto parlay like that for all the different sports. I would be shocked if the Colorado Avalanche weren't in the Stanley Cup Finals this year. So I like them. If you are going to go on the Dodgers, maybe sprinkle them in there as well. And then I'm pretty confident that Scottie Scheffler will complete the Grand Slam this year and win the U.S. Open. Rory did it last year. He became the 6th man to ever complete the Grand Slam of golf. And I think that you're going to see, it's just a perfect story. I think you're going to see someone do it in back-to-back years. It hasn't been done since Tiger did it. Rory did it. And I think Scottie Scheffler wins the U.S. Open this year. So Scottie Scheffler, U.S. Open, Colorado, Stanley Cup champions, and Dodgers World Series champions.
That is sexy. We're definitely clipping that. That thing's going to go viral as the dominoes start to fall. I know, yes, truly the golf specialist, but this man also knows his puck. He's getting to the Cognizant Thursday. What, 2 Panthers games followed by the Heat game? Freaking in-person viewing legend.
Yeah, I mean, boots on the ground, man. I have a fantastic record of boots on the ground. I've become very popular for same game parlays. So essentially what I do is I'll put together what I believe the script for the hockey game is going to be, points, assists, shots, goals, and then come up with a play. And it's been going extremely well. So I love being there. I'm not one of those people that puts in a play and kind of just takes off for the day. I watch every play that I give out. I bet every play that I give out. I ride with my community, and no better than doing it in person. So back-to-back Panthers games. I got the Cognizant tomorrow during the day. I got Panthers game tomorrow night, Cognizant during the day on Friday, Panthers game on Friday night, and then we got the Heat game Saturday afternoon. So it's going to be a busy 3 days.
I love it, Millsy. You are the man. I'm very jealous of that lineup right there. Any viewers, any listeners, if you do see him, buy this man a beer because he's going to make you money at some point throughout the year 2026. Like I said, we have this 50% off discount running for MoneyMillsLocks. Go follow him on socials. Follow his golf backup account. It's where he gives out a bunch of free content. And let's go make some money, my friend.
Let's do it. And listen, if anybody does see me over the next 3 days, come say hi. I'll buy you a beer. I'm not hurting.
All right, Millsy. You're the best. Talk soon.
All right, man. Appreciate you.